Well, hello and welcome to another Outriders video with me, Hooch. This one I thought I'd do a little bit about the end game. If, like me, you've got to the end game, smashed through the story, and then hit a bit of a brick wall, hopefully there's a few tips that will help you get unstuck. I'm by no means an expert. I have only reached CT10 myself solo, but I was stuck at CT4 for such a long time. I was getting quite despondent with the game, getting quite angry with it, frustrated. Kept going online, looking at YouTube videos. They weren't really helping. It was all about CT15 and this build and that build, but not actually how you got there to get the gear. Well, hopefully this will help a little bit when the penny started dropping over one or two things and managed to get me unstuck from CT4 and started slowly progressing. I've hit another wall now, but at least I've got a plan. So let's marvel at my codpiece one last time, and then we'll crack on with the video. So first thing, I don't want to be patronising, try not to be, or teaching you to suck eggs, but it's all about synergy. For the longest time I was just throwing gear on with the highest levels. That mod sounds good, this mod sounds good, oh that weapon looks good, and not really thinking how it all meshed together. So just on a real basic level, I'm using the top tree for trickster, which most people seem to be doing. This node here, increase your shotgun weapon damage by 15%. This node here, each enemy in close range, your weapon damage is increased. So, and we know we heal by killing things close up. So we know there's no point in looking at bolt action rifles or ARs. We want to be looking for shotguns, we want to be getting in people's faces, and we want to be blowing their heads off. So that's the first little bit of synergy that you want to start thinking about, you know, and then from there we can take synergy a bit further. Let me just look at this first. I know it's a build that's been nerfed, everybody goes on about it, but we've got these twisted rounds. So fills your current weapons magazine with anomaly infused bullets that increase your firepower by 11,767 and lasts until you reload or switch weapons. So what we really want to be doing then is never reloading. So how are we going to do that? There's a couple of ways of doing it. There's a mod called Perpetual Motion. I mean, I'm not telling you anything new here. You've probably already got that sus by now. So I've got a Perpetual Mobile, I've got it on, where you instantly replenish your magazine if you kill an enemy with 35% or less ammo remaining in your magazine. But another way to do it is how I'm planning on doing it eventually, is I'd like to try this gun. I know it's a legendary. I bought this one from Tiago just by grinding, where shots inflict bleed on enemies, a tier 3 mod. Okay, so once they're bleeding, what else can we do? Well, if we go to the mod man, and let's just pick a purple weapon, no, a purple piece of armor that we're not going to deconstruct. There we go, mod gear. Okay, here's another, as it happens, vein ripper. Critical shots inflict bleed on enemies, so it's another way of inflicting bleed. And then we could put vampiric mag, killing shots on enemies inflicted with bleed, which we know we're going to be doing all the time, replenishes 50% of your ammo in your magazine. So again, we're going to keep filling the magazine up every time we do a kill. Rather than the 35%, that one's going to put half of your ammo in your magazine every kill. So for one shot and things, we're going to forever have ammo in our magazine, and we'll never run out of twisted rounds. Now that's obviously an popular and easy example, but I mean there's other examples. So let's take this weapon. It's light machine gun that I got. Ultimate weakening bullets. Shots inflict weakness on an enemy for 1 second with a cooldown of 1 second. So we're going to inflict enemies with weakness. What could we do that goes with that? Well, deal 10% more damage against enemies afflicted by weakness. So we're going to do more damage and increase the duration of weakness. So if we could put that on there, then we're going to get enemies weakened for longer, and then we're going to do more damage against them, and we know we're going to do it every time we shoot at them. So it's just about, you know, they're just little examples of how you can synergize your mods and thinking about them. Because if he was like me, he was just throwing gear on and not really thinking about it and not having a plan. So what I'm really trying to say in a roundabout, boring way is to just plan what you're going to do. Have a plan and stick to it and work towards it. And then there's other mods you can do for survivability, like I'm a big fan of mitigation from death. So killing enemies while aiming down sights grants 20,644 points of armor for 10 seconds and stacks up to 3 times. So, you know, I'm a big fan of the one, that's a good one for if you're doing what we're doing, tricksters are doing, and you've got to get up close, personal space. So you could, if you could add that in, you get 15 bonus to close range damage. So it's just about going through your library, finding what works, what goes well together, rather than, you know, if, like, for instance, there's no point in having sprinting increases your armor if you're never sprinting. But you've got a piece that's got a really big armor rating, but the mod's are no good. I'd rather have the mods that work and make me a killing machine myself, personally. I don't know, you can go through, I'm not going to go through every single mod, but you get the gist. Now, also, I haven't got there yet. Tier 3 mods, I've only got one on the armor side, so, you know, who knows what's in there that could be better in the future. Then the other thing I would suggest is get to grips with what stats you want. Ignore the armor rating, the 5147. So if we go to my trousers here, 4816. Now I've got a piece in my library here that's 5434 that I got. Much better than that one. Why am I using it? Well, quite simply because that has got long range damage, which I'm not going to use. Simple as that. And I don't use Temporal Blade, so I don't really want that mod. And I don't really want Vein Ripper either. I can't replace both mods, so I'm going to have one dead, useless mod, and I'm going to have one dead, useless stat, whereas this pair of legs has got the 3 skills I'm looking for personally in a build: bonus firepower, cooldown reduction, and close range damage. It's got emergency stance, that was the one I was looking for earlier, so that's quite useful. That's going to give me golem protection when my health drops down, and it's got something for my twisted rounds, which I am using. So I'd rather use this piece than that piece, even though it's got that green arrow, and I was obsessed with that green arrow when I first started. It must be better. It's not better. If I put that on, my firepower in the top left hand corner drops by about 4k. And also I'm going to lose weapon leech, and I'm not going to have that golem. I'm going to get something for a skill I'm not using, and I'm going to inflict bleed, which is not going to synergize with the rest of my build. So if you're running, I'm going to try and sort one out later, an AP build, and you're using the old whirling dervish skill, the cyclone blades, then I'm probably going to want a pair of trousers, if I've got one, that has got anomaly power on there. And if I'm doing that and inflicting bleed or weakness, for instance, a status effect, then it's also got status power on there. So look for the stats, even if it's a lower piece, because what you can always do if it's a lower piece, which is the next tip I'm going to give you. Did I just leave my legs behind? Well, how about that? This game's bugs never cease to amaze me. So if, like me, you leave your legs behind, you can come to Zahidi. I can't get your breath at that. I've got these trousers. Can I make them better? Normally I can make them better by, once I've got the stats that I want, slapping my shards in there, which I explained in the crafting video. If I ever delete those, I'll get my shards back. And I can also level it up, which is, but we're going to need titanium, and we're going to need drop pod resources. But as you can see, that main figure will go up, the other 3 will randomize. but I've never seen them go lower yet, but I haven't done it that much, so it could do. So as you can see, I've got this level 43. I can get that all the way up to level 47 if I wanted. And so all of a sudden now, if I do that with all my gear, then I am up in the level of my gear, and I'm getting closer and closer and closer to moving up a CT tier in the expeditions. There's no point in running. Let's just have a look at them. Let's open this one. So you're stuck on level 4, CT4. You've got that far. You want to do number 5, enemies in loot, level 37, but you're still rocking level 32 gear. That's why you're struggling. So, well, one of the reasons. So it's always worth spending a few mats just to get you up there to try and get some better drops and some better gear. Then always check at Bailey is the next thing I was going to say. She sometimes has some god rolls in here. This counter resets, I think it's every 30 minutes. It might be 25, I can't remember, or 20 minutes. But anyway, it keeps resetting. You'll see it. Has she got anything at the minute? Let's have a look. Not really. Not so far. Not for me. No, but if I had an anomaly build, some of it might be quite good. But you never know. She might have some mods that you need. She might have some god roll gear with the right stats on it, and one mod that you want. You can buy titanium from her. It's always worth having a look at. And then don't forget Tiago. He also has some gear. Yes, I didn't mean to do that. Obviously, it costs you a different currency in your drop pods. But you know, he has gear in here. Is it any good? There we go. Look at that one. Look at the rating. 47 gear piece, 8,000 armor. That would make me much better. It's got a mod I could use. I don't really like the bottom mod particularly, but it's got the 3 stats, so that's worth considering. But the problem is it's 5,328 drop pods to buy that. So that's why I come on to the next point. I don't think I've made it. I've made this video 3 times and the dog keeps interrupting all the phone rings. I don't think I've said it yet. Don't be disheartened when you see YouTubers on there, like I said before, that are smashing it at CT15. They've been doing it for 14 hours a day. Not me, by the way. I'm pretty sure I haven't said this on this particular video. I think it was the last one that I recorded that went wrong. I am no means an expert. I've got a full-time job and a wife. You've probably got full-time jobs and wives and girlfriends and kids and pets, and you don't get to play 14 hours a day. They do. That's why they're smashing CT15, because they are grinding. And I'm afraid, just like Diablo, just like any other looter shooter or any game that requires loot and rifts and stuff like that, the grind is real. You are going to be grinding for titanium, shards and drop pods to improve what you've got to get you up to those higher levels to get the higher drops. And the best way I would suggest doing that is to pick a expedition that's a bit lower than you're comfortable with. So I know I can do 9, but it was hard work, so I'm probably going to grind in a bit at 8. If I find that too easy, then I will up it to 9. Okay, the loot's going to be too low a level, but if it's got the right stats on it, I can bring it up, and it's going to get me drop pod resources and titanium, so I can bring up the gear I've already got, and just keep doing it that way, and just keep grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding. Hopefully legendaries will start to drop, and I'll start to get some tier 3 mods the same as you will. So that's all the advice I've got, really. I hope I didn't waffle too much. I hope you've understood it. I hope it's helped. If it has helped, please leave a like. They're really appreciated. They really help out the channel. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. This is where you'll find me on Twitch. This is where you'll find me on Twitter. And until next time, look at my magic legs. Oh, they've gone. No, they haven't. There they are. Magic legs and Terrarabit.